What is going on, y'all? It's your man Mike Titan, the gaming savant, bringing y'all another episode of the Blitz. And today we talking basketball, more specifically the NBA Western Conference preview. I will be giving you my thoughts on the Western Conference, how I think it's going to turn out, and who personally I think will be the MVP of this league. Now, the Western Conference, for y'all to know, have, in my opinion, pretty much been the power conference for the past, I'd say, decade, 12 years, something along those lines. Reason I say that is because every year in the Western Conference, the last two or three spots in the playoffs always comes down to like a game and a half, maybe 2 games, 1 game. Sometimes it comes down to the last game of the season, who's going to get in or who's going to get out. In the Eastern Conference, all that's pretty much decided by the start of March, end of March, maybe start of April, at least 2 weeks out. So that's why, in my opinion, I've always liked the Western Conference more. And plus, to me, there's always a lot more better big men in the Western Conference. But let's start off by talking the returning champs, Golden State Warriors. Last year, Steph Curry and them boys just put on a show, just 3-point splash in Palooza. Andre Iguodala won the Finals MVP. Draymond Green came back. They pretty much kept the same team for the most part. It'll be interesting to see how they go year 2. Of course, Steve Kerr won the championship in his rookie year as a head coach, playing against David Blatt, who in his rookie year took his team to the finals. But of course, they had LeBron, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, and all those guys. Now, the Warriors, I think, will pretty much be primed to repeat what they did last year. Stephen Curry showed that he's more than just a 3-point shooter, that he is a facilitator, that he is somebody who can get to the basket. And he has a little bit of defense on him. Not the best, but, enough to stay in front of people. Draymond Green was pretty much the glue for that team, the dirty man. I would kind of compare him to like a 2015 Dennis Rodman of sorts. He could do a little bit of everything. He plays amazing defense. He can shoot the ball sometimes when he's open. He can rebound, block shots, do all those things. Of course, Andrew Bogut, the big man in the middle, he stayed healthy, and that played a very good role. They did lose David Lee to the Boston Celtics, so that kind of hurts them depth-wise at the big man power forward. But Festus Ezeli came into his own in the finals and in the playoffs last year, so he was definitely somebody that they had to keep, and they could afford to get rid of Lee. Klay Thompson is coming to his own as a shooter. Of course, Iguodala coming off the bench as a 6th man. So I think the Warriors pretty much have what it takes to defend their title. There are a couple of teams I think can kind of challenge them in the West. One of them being the San Antonio Spurs, who, as they get older, they're like fine wine. The older they get, the better they seem. Of course, they signed the big free agent catfish everybody wanted, LaMarcus Aldridge, who I think will pretty much be the successor to Tim Duncan in his throne. I will go out on a limb and say that, as long as Popovich stays there, LaMarcus stays there. Of course, they're returning back Kawhi Leonard. They did get rid of Tiago Splitter, who went to the Atlanta Hawks, but I would much rather have LaMarcus Aldridge than Tiago Splitter. Tiago Splitter is a good role player. LaMarcus Aldridge is somebody that you build that team around. That's going to want to make other free agents go there. The combination of him, Kawhi Leonard, you got Tony Parker getting into the twilight of his career, so he'll probably be around for another couple of years after Manu and Duncan hang it up, and maybe even Popovich. Another team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who were just riddled by injuries and were this close to making the playoffs with pretty much Russell Westbrook as that team. Of course, they made some trades last year. They got Dion Waiters. And I think this is the big pickup for them, and this is probably what's going to put them over the top. Enes Kanter from the Utah Jazz. He was sitting away, walling away in Utah. Well, actually, they have Rudy Gobert, who was playing very well, so they decided to get rid of Enes Kanter, and he's pretty much a big man who can rebound. He can shoot. Not the best defender, but he is somebody that can get you points down low. Of course, they still got Ibaka or Serge Ibaka. Kevin Durant. This is my thing that's going to put this team over the top besides Kanter. Kevin Durant coming off of foot surgery, finally 100% healthy. This man is going to be on a mission. He's going to have the eye of the tiger. I feel like he's got something to prove. People were saying like, Westbrook can't do it without Durant or can't do it without Durant. I think Durant's going to come down this year and just shut stuff down. I expect him to be the scoring leader. I expect him to be a highlight on ESPN every night that he plays. This man has a fire in him, to something that proves to the league that, I've been off a year, but let me remind y'all who, in his own words, or I would say, the best player in the league. Then, of course, you got Russell Westbrook, who some people say it won't work with Kevin Durant. I think it can work. I just think Westbrook has to become more of a passing guard. Reason that being said is that Westbrook has, in my opinion, Westbrook has all the tools to be the most unguardable person in the league. He can get to the rim at will. You know, he's developed his shot more, so he has a more consistent shot. If he could just become a passer and, you know, get more people open and run an offense, then you would never have no idea how to defend this man. You know, like, is he going to take it to the basket? Is he going to dish it out? Is he going to shoot a three? So I think Westbrook is his maturation to becoming a superstar in the league, or being even more of a superstar, is helping him out with that. Now, this next team is going to be my dark horse for this year in the NBA. Reason I say dark horse, because they have high expectations. Not really high, but they at least have playoff aspirations every year, and every year they always just seem to fall flat. The Minnesota Timberwolves. They have probably, in my opinion, one of the best young teams in the NBA. If they can keep that core group of guys together for the next 4 to 5 years, I think they'll be a real powerhouse in the Western Conference. Excuse me. Of course, they're drafting Karl Anthony Towns with the #1 overall pick. You got Kevin Garnett, who's going to be a mentor to Towns and a mentor to that team. Ricky Rubio, Zach LaVine, who if he can prove he's more than just a dunker, if he can prove that he can, you know, shoot threes, get to the basket, run pick and rolls, and play defense, he'll be very good. Of course, they got Andrew Wiggins that they got in the Kevin Love trade. Still got Pekovic. I mean, this team starting five looks, just on paper, looks really good. It's just going to depend on how they put all these pieces together and see if they can work and get at least to the playoffs. I have them, I'm not going to lie, I have them making at least the 8th seed, maybe the 7 or 6. It just depends. Another team that went through a little bit of transformation in the offseason, just a small bit, the Houston Rockets. They lost Josh Smith to the Clippers, who I'll talk about in a second. And then they also gained Ty Lawson from the Denver Nuggets. I don't know how this is going to work in Houston, just because I've always heard stories that Ty Lawson is kind of a headache to deal with, coach-wise and team-wise. And, you know, James Harden and Dwight Howard already think they're superior above the rest of the roster, so I have no idea how that's going to be. They're going to get Patrick Beverley back from injury. He injured his hand in the playoffs last year. So, you know, the Rockets are looking pretty good. I would probably peg them in at maybe a 4 or 5 seed, maybe even 3 if they can get up there, if they can get on a good run. But I have them at 4 or 5. Now, the team I was just talking about, Los Angeles Clippers. Boy, what an offseason for this team. I say, they lost DeAndre Jordan, and then he had a change of heart, and they got him back. We're not going to go into that as Dallas fans. We're just going to acknowledge, you know, whatever happened. They got Paul Pierce from the Wizards, a very good veteran that they need in the locker room to help them out. And then they also got Lance Stevenson from the Charlotte Bobcats. I'm very interested to see how Lance Stevenson's going to work under Doc Rivers. As y'all know, Lance Stevenson, the crazy man that blew in LeBron's ear, you know, pretty much was a good two-way player in Indiana with Paul George. And then he went to Charlotte and really didn't do nothing. I thought it was a horrible place to go to in the first place. I think he could have went better other places than Charlotte. But, you know, it's interesting to see, because I think he'll be coming off the bench. I think he'll be more like a 6th or a 7th man. So it'll be interesting to see how he works with that team, with that group of players, and if he can not go crazy, if that's a, you know, a phrase I can say, not go crazy and just go off the handle and, you know, be a headache for everybody. But I think the Clippers would be a good fit for him. I think he'll definitely be a good defensive shutdown player. He'll also get his looks as a second team on offense with Austin Rivers and Big Baby Davis running that second unit. So it'll be interesting to see how Lance Stevenson does in LA with the Clippers. And then, of course, last team that I'm going to speak of that I don't think is going to make the playoffs is the LA Lakers. You know, how can you talk about the Western Conference without the Lakers? Kobe's coming off an injury. They drafted D'Angelo Russell to be, you know, the next star in LA. Julius Randle is coming back from injury after the first game of the season last year. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this team goes. You know, I think they might have a chance at number 8. That's a strong might. That's if this offense can run fluidly with Kobe and everybody else in it, and not him just jacking up 40 shots a game. I think they have a chance to make the 8th seed. I don't think they'll do anything in the playoffs if they do get in, but I think they have a strong chance of at least making the 8th seed and at least getting to the playoffs. And then after next year's this is the last year's Kobe's deal, so who knows what's going to happen after next year. But with that being said, after thinking about it for a while and kind of looking at teams and looking at see who's going to be doing what, my MVP for this 2015-2016 NBA season, I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant. I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant for the simple fact that this man is on a mission. I think he's gonna come back. I think he's gonna be scoring leader, just because I think he's just gonna score that much. He's gonna propel the Oklahoma City Thunder to at least a 2 seed. I give them anywhere between 1 and 3. With the way that their team is, they're going to be a top 3 seed just off the top. But yeah, Kevin Durant's going to be my MVP for this year. Leave some comments below. Let me know who you guys think be the MVP. What do you think of the Western Conference coming out? Do you have any dark horse teams? Do you have any teams that you think are pretenders and getting overhyped? I'm looking at you, LA Clippers. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Unrivaled Multimedia. Check out all of our social media links below, and I will catch you guys in the next episode of The Blitz. Peace.